The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Let's go! My time is in! Game time! Game time! It's gonna be a football game tonight now. No doubt. It's gonna be a football game here. Okay. I done been here before. All right, let's go, baby.
9. Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line. Vaughn Miller did it again.
Alabama back on top of the college football world. Ladies and gentlemen, football to the max.
Your host, Sean Garmer, Gary Vaughn, and Randy Isbell.
Hello and welcome to Football to the Max. Of course, the NFL Week 3 preview edition. And, of course, we will be also recapping the Thursday night game between the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. And, of course, it's great that we have a New York Jets fan here so he can freak out about his team constantly. You know. And, of course, Mr. Gary Vaughn is here as well. So, you know, the whole crew here.
We are ready to rock and roll and talk some NFL football games this week. And, boy, am I excited. I can't wait to overreact.
Yes. Overreaction Thursday almost happened for Randy here with the Jets taking on the Bills. Of course, the only game last year that ended with the same scoreline both times they played each other. And, of course, everybody remembers it with the big color rush game because, colorblind people couldn't see what was going on. This time, they just said, nope, we'll just wear your regular jerseys. So we don't have that problem. I'm guessing that they'll do the color rush stuff later against a different opponent when they don't have the color problems. But, so this ended up 37-31. The Jets defense didn't have the best game in the world that you'd expect where they held the team down, but I didn't think that, Tyrod Taylor looked that great here. He got knocked around. In fact, they had to take him out of the game because he got sandwiched on a possible concussion. And you have Buffalo, the defense is just terrible. Last week, they couldn't score. This week, they score, and they can't defend anybody. So I don't know what's going on with the Bills, but this, you got the two Ryans there, and somehow the defense plays worse. But either way, Randy, I think you have to be happy with how your team played. I mean, you were telling everybody to take Quincy Enunwa for the fantasy. He came up big in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Quincy Enunwa is a great fantasy option. They have spread the ball around in the passing game, and he has proven that he is a wonderful target, making some amazing tough catches in traffic. He is the guy now in the slot to go against the linebackers, catching all 6 targets that went his way. And listen, 95% of this game, I thought the Jets completely dominated this game. And that's where the struggle comes, because this should not have been a 6-point game. You take 2 long touchdown passes away, and the stats don't look worth anything for Buffalo. But, they count, and the Jets gave those up. And the thing that drove me even more nuts was those 2 long touchdown passes came basically the exact same way. They shut them down on first down, they shut them down on second down, and then they gave up a huge play for a touchdown. And that was it. That was the Buffalo offense until that last drive. And so I'm very happy with the way the Jets looked on defense for the most part, other than, giving up the big play. Yes, they got to Tyrod Taylor and knocked him around, but they didn't get to him as much as I thought they would. No sacks recorded, but, give credit to Taylor for his elusiveness to get away from that kind of stuff. But I think that people saying that the Jets defense is down Now, that to me is an overreaction. They need to work on some communication. They need to work on making sure safety is over Darrelle Revis at times, though he did play much better after getting burnt on the first drive. So give him credit. The offense is just absolutely stellar. It's as good as I was hoping it would be. Fitzpatrick was really getting into a groove here with the help of Matt Forte.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Listen, only 3.3 yards per carry. He gets 100 yards, but, he does find the end zone extremely well, pushing through the line twice, and then basically I could have walked through the hole that he was given for that third touchdown. So great job there. Brandon Marshall with the knee scare, but he comes back into the game. He even said that he thought he was going to be fishing in Miami, when the injury took place. But luckily it doesn't look like it's too serious. And just the fact that they were able to spread it around between Decker, Marshall, and Enunwa. Jalen Marshall gets into it a little bit, but a huge fumble there. I love how balanced this offense is, and it's because of how close this game was is what it's driving me absolutely nuts. I feel like the Jets were the better team by far in both of their games this year, and they were that close to being 0-2.
Gary?
Yeah, fair enough. I look at this game and say, I'm a little bit surprised that Buffalo was able to stay in it as long as they did. And it's just those little things, and whether it be Darrelle Revis kind of whiffing on a play, which is Randy, you were correct. Revis Island is probably done, but that doesn't mean he's not a good corner. It just means he's not a shutdown corner anymore. He's getting older, so you have things like that take place and change the scoreboard, and people feel like the game is closer than it maybe really is. So I think in that second half, you thought, man, the score still looks close. We're getting into the fourth quarter, and what's going to happen here? And the Jets kind of found a way to pull away there and to finish out this game. That's the most important thing here. Forte, once again, he's proven to be a great addition to this team. They're doing a lot of the things that they said they were going to do. It's just they're just not winning convincingly. That's, I think, the thing that's kind of surprised me, and I think some other people.
Yeah, certainly, and the thing with it being so close drew the ire of Randy, which him and I got onto it on Messenger, because he was saying that, which he has a point in that they should have gone for 2 to get 14 points, so that even if something crazy happened and the Bills could only tie the game and everything else. But, my point was that the 2-point conversion is not a guarantee. You have 12 points instead of 13. And my point of this is there's a psychological element that goes into these kind of things too, in that you're used to your routine. You do things the same way. You scored a touchdown, you're going to kick the extra point. Everybody's used to that. You do it. And also the commentators are automatically going to say certain things. It's going to get into the fans in the stands, all that kind of stuff, where it gets in your head, because the last thing that you see is that you failed at something. And so, okay, yeah, let's say you make it. Great. You got the 14 points. You got no problems. You don't have to worry about nothing. Whatever. It's going to be really hard for them to get 2 possessions anyway, because they have to get an onside kick. But to be honest, the Jets were playing well enough defensively the entire game where you should be able to confide in them. But for me, it's just that whole, okay, let's say you miss. Well, then that's what's going to stick in your mind. And all of a sudden, the commentators are going to go, oh, look, now they got a shot at if they score 2 touchdowns, now they can win. And you give them that glimmer of hope that perhaps, okay, well, now we only got to – we just whatever. For me, you keep doing what you're doing, you go for that extra point, and then you put it on your defense, which has been doing fine for most of the game. But, Randy, you are going to tell me I'm stupid now, sir.
I completely disagree, and yes. Okay, so my first point, players don't listen to commentators, especially during the game. They don't give a fuck. So that has nothing to do with it. Like, oh, a commentator is going to say something different. No, of course not. Who cares? Here's the thing that I was trying to get across to you over Messenger that was really driving me nuts. Yes, we've kind of evened it out a little bit. But the fact is, routine or not, who cares? You coach your team into a position to give yourself the best chance to win. Okay? So kicking an extra point there like they did made it a 13-point game. That means 2 touchdowns still beats you. That's the exact same of going for 2 and not making it. So kicking it gives you 0 extra advantage, and also going for 2 means absolutely nothing if you don't get it, because it puts you in the exact same situation. 2 touchdowns, you lose. That's it. So you go for 2, and now you're up those 2 touchdowns. You want to get into the psychological aspect. Oh man, they didn't get it. Now it's in the back of your mind. I think it's the exact same way. You don't have faith in us to go get that 2-point conversion. So that's in your mind. And plus, if they don't get it, whatever. The second problem.
Were they even thinking about that though?
I don't know. But here's my second huge issue. So you kick it. Whatever. Now it's a 13-point game. 2 touchdowns beat you. There's 4 minutes left in the game. Buffalo has 2 timeouts. They should have had 3, but Rex Ryan is a bigger moron of a coach. And on a 4th and 1, faked like they were going to go for it, called timeout, and then went for it anyways. So they wasted that timeout completely. Thank you, Rex, for being one of the worst coaches ever. Anyways, so now you're only up 13, 4 minutes to go, 2 timeouts. And they played the softest prevent defense against Tyrod Taylor, who had not looked that great all game. Yes, he had 2 big touchdown passes. So sure, you have the safeties play over the top. They basically play no doubles defense, if you will, if you look at a baseball term. Nobody gets by them, but have the corners up there, put some pressure on Tyrod Taylor, try to get him to make a mistake and end the game. The fact that they were basically playing 5 yards off of receivers and letting Tyrod Taylor, one of the worst quarterbacks, in my opinion, in the NFL, pick them apart for the first time the entire game and let them drive all the way down where they score with over a minute to go and still have both their timeouts is infuriating. So you don't go for 2, and now you play the softest defense you've played ever with Todd Bowles. So now it's a 6-point game, and now you're hoping that, the bounce goes your way for the onside kick. Those things are fluky as hell. Luckily, it bounced right to Brandon Marshall, who basically took a step back, made the right catch, and went down, and things went fine. But a bounce goes the wrong way. Buffalo gets the onside kick. Now they're only down 6. A touchdown wins the game. There's a minute to go, and they have 2 timeouts. It absolutely infuriated me. You go for 2 there. You make it 14. So if all of this then happened, they get it there. Same situation, minute to go, 2 timeouts. But a touchdown just ties it instead of you're losing at that point. Because your offense is going to be able to win in overtime. Or it's Rex Ryan. Maybe he goes for 2 to try to win the damn game. Who knows? But going for 2 was 0 risk, all reward. And instead, they went for the it doesn't matter point. Because 12 and 13 in that situation meant absolutely nothing. 14 was the key. And they decided not to go for it. And it drove me nuts. And if the ball bounces differently, Buffalo gets it and they score, that's all you're going to hear about until Sunday is how terrible of a decision it was. Luckily, they hold on, they win the game. Buffalo gets to midfield because, again, they don't have that 3rd timeout, so there's 10 seconds left on the clock instead of 50. But so they win the game, so, it gets brushed to the side. But watching it live, I was absolutely infuriated that they don't go for 2. More so that you were agreeing with it, which is fine. You can have your own opinion, but it's like, to me, it made absolutely 0 sense and no foresight from these coaches that, again, the thing that probably pissed me off more was the fact that they went into prevent defense. The dumbest thing.
Well, they had to go into prevent because they had been burned twice already by their damn receivers that are fast.
So you're gonna.
But that's what. Okay, but what if you get burned by Sammy Watkins or somebody, and in like 10 seconds you have a touchdown scored on you?
So you have the safeties play back, and you have them play the no doubles defense. As I said, nothing gets by them. But the corners should not be playing 10 yards off of every receiver. You're just allowing them to score at that point. Prevent is, there's 40 seconds left in the game with no timeouts. Cover the sides, cover deep, make them waste that clock. With 4 minutes to go and 2 timeouts, that's way too early to worry about that.
I just think that he was thinking about, okay, I've been burned twice. I don't want to get burned again by some fluky, somebody misses their assignment or whatever, and then they've got 2 minutes and 2 timeouts, and they can still get another possession even after they get a touchdown here.
Well, if he was worried about that, he would have went for 2 and made it a 2-score game.
I just really think nobody was thinking about that because the commentary didn't bring it up until they'd scored the first touchdown. I think you and I don't know how many other Jets fans might have thought about it, but I don't think there was a ton of people just thinking about, oh crap, we should have gone for 2 there, and that might have been the issue, Then
NFL teams, I am open for hire. If I am smarter than everyone else there, and I'm the only one that realized that going for 2 made it a 2-touchdown game, then whatever. But it just, come on, you go for 2 in that situation.
Well, Gary, you've had to be silent throughout this thing. So, any thoughts there? Did Gary fall asleep?
I don't know what Gary's doing over there.
Great. Hold on. My headset was beeping at me that I needed to charge it. What happened? Gary? Alright, I guess something happened with
I pissed Gary off. I pissed him off. He's out of here.
Hope everything's okay. But, yeah, so I think we pretty much hit everything on that Thursday night game. Now we've spent almost 20 minutes talking about that game. So...
Hey, there's Gary.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm here. I was just letting you guys battle it out. I mean, you guys.
I was telling you to come on so you can give your thoughts on the. Thing.
I mean, you guys pretty much said it all. But I will just say, there's compelling arguments for both sides. It really is. And the only reason I was a little bit more slightly on Sean's side of this is just because of you are winning the game by more than 7. So. I mean, you could take that error and say, oh, well, what if they get a touchdown? Well, then we're screwed. If they get it. But if you're leading more than 7, I'd on the side of caution than I would risk. So
there's no risk involved. Anyways, let's go.
All right, let's get into the games that are happening after this game here, and two big divisional matchups happening back to back of each other. The AFC North basically going to battle here in Week 2. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cleveland Browns. I think we all are picking the Ravens here. I mean, let's be honest though. The last time with Joe Flacco and Josh McCown, this was one of the most entertaining games of the entire freaking season.
Yeah, it was. You're correct on that. And you know what? I mean,
wasn't this the game where they had the stupid offside like 3 times or whatever, and then somebody still missed a field goal or whatever it was? I don't remember exactly. And then you had the punt return all the way back in the other game on Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. It was a tie game. Cleveland was kicking a field goal to win the game. Baltimore blocked it and returned it and won the game. A walk-off blocked field goal return. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how McCown plays with this offense. I don't think it matters because that defense is horrid, and Joe Flacco is going to throw all over them.
Plus he has no offensive line either.
Yeah, we'll see if either running game can get anything going. I doubt it. So I think Baltimore's defense is going to hold Cleveland in check, and the no-show defense of Cleveland is just not there. So give me Baltimore.
Yeah, I got Baltimore, and it's not that I'm impressed with Baltimore's defense or anything, but I think they are better than Cleveland. So yeah, I'm going Baltimore.
The other matchup, which the referees have already been warned to be careful because these two have issues. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's in Pittsburgh for this one. Oy. I'm gonna go with the Steelers here, but man, they are going to punch each other in the mouth anytime they get a chance.
What do you think, Randy? I got to look at I forgot who I picked.
Well, I'm taking Pittsburgh here. I think this is actually going to be a pretty high-scoring game. Both teams like the deep ball. We'll have some fun with A.J. Green and Antonio Brown probably answering each other back and forth on some really big plays. But give me DeAngelo Williams, being able to run on Cincinnati. They struggled against Matt Forte. So I think Pittsburgh has the more balanced team here. It is also at home. I still think Cincinnati has a good chance to win this division, but I don't think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this game, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. I think I have Pittsburgh here as well. I think I'm like you guys. I just think that they're going to find a way to win it.
Another game that could be high scoring, the Tennessee Titans and the Detroit Lions.
I think you can take the could out of that. I think this will be a high-scoring game. Detroit with a great win last week against the Colts, but that defense looked terrible against Andrew Luck. Yes, Mariota is not at that level, but they do have a bit of a high-powered offense as well. Listen, I'm starting to fall for this Detroit offense. It is weird to say that an offense is better without Calvin Johnson, but listen, it is. It's more balanced. Stafford feels more comfortable. He has even said that he probably started looking for Johnson too often and kind of just focused on that instead of spreading the ball around. The two running backs in Detroit are great in the passing game. I like the Lions here in a shootout.
You know what? Definitely the Lions are a team to watch out for. I like them. I like them a lot. But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if the Titans found a way to win this game. It really would not. I don't think the defense is strong enough to keep them from running the ball. And I mean, Mariota still got weapons. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the Titans here.
I'm going to go with the Lions here. It's at home. I feel a little bit more confident in Stafford right now than I do Mariota. I think the running backs are awash with each other, and you've got teams with weapons on both sides. Tennessee's defense can get after you a bit. That's something that the Lions don't have. But if I'm picking somebody to win in the shootout, I got the Lions on this one. Just not too confident in it, but this should be fun to watch, certainly. A rematch of the AFC wildcard game from last year, Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. This one's in Houston. Could be a defensive game as much as it could be an offensive game. Did we get 300 yards to Alex Smith again, or is Osweiler going to be going nuts on the Chiefs?
No, Osweiler is definitely not going crazy on the Chiefs. I don't think we see 300 yards from Alex Smith either, but I will say if Kansas City falls behind like they did against San Diego and they need him to throw 300 yards, then I like Houston in this game. I kind of still do, and it's not because of Osweiler. I think he and Tyrod Taylor are my two least favorite quarterbacks in the league as far as talent-wise. But the team around him is great. Will Fuller is really showing himself as a great receiver. Lamar Miller is loving all of the touches he's getting, so it's a very balanced offense. That defense is still stacked. I think they're going to be putting a lot of pressure. It still looks like no Jamal Charles for Kansas City, and Spencer Ware is also banked up. So I don't think things are panning out that well for the Chiefs here in this game. So I'm going to take Houston, but I don't think it's going to be because of their quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with Randy on that. The quarterback situation is not really helpful for the Texans, but that defense is, and J.J. Watt injuries is supposedly going to play or what. I think Kansas City, the way they last week was a surprise, and if they do it again, I just don't think that they can come back in this situation. And Randy pointed out that Brock Osweiler is Leslie's favorite. So, I mean, if I was going to rank, I'd probably rank them maybe Tyler Taylor, Brock Osweiler, Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, Gary is totally biased against Ryan Tannehill, so it's
the worst quarterbacks in the league. I mean, might as well mention them all.
I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs here. I think when it comes down to it, yes, it is in Houston. Yes, Houston has a different dynamic-looking team here, but I think they do have a defense that can sort of deal with some of the weapons here, and then you get Kansas City doing their offense. Spencer Ware's been fine, and Jamal Charles not playing, so I think the Chiefs go into Houston and they win. Miami Dolphins in another divisional game taking on the New England Patriots. Miami normally gives Tom Brady fits. Having a guy that's not as experienced as Tom Brady going in there and Jimmy Garoppolo, it could be the same issue because Miami's defense looked actually really good against the Seahawks last week. I don't know. I'm still going to pick the Patriots at home, but we'll have to see what kind of Miami Dolphins team you get this week.
Yeah, if this is in Miami, I may have a different feeling on it. I think that really this being a home game for the Patriots, definitely a big help. I think Garoppolo is not going to have as easy of a task as he did last week. It's going to be a little bit more of a struggle. But at the end of the day, I think the Patriots find a way to win this game.
Yeah, it's going to be low scoring, as you guys have said. That defense is legit in Miami. They gave Russell Wilson all sorts of fits in Seattle. And as Sean said, they do love to play against New England and pull upsets. I'm curious to see if Rob Gronkowski plays. He's still questionable, so we'll see there. But they were able to play well without him. I have the Patriots here in a first 1 to 14 wins.
Well, you said 1st to 14 in that New England Miami Dolphins game. How about like 1st to 50 in the New York Giants and New Orleans Saints game? At least that's how it was when they previously played last year. Did we see this again in the Meadowlands?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the games that I'm going to be watching the most, as my team obviously played on Thursday. My girlfriend's team plays Sunday night, so I am free to watch whatever I want. These early games, and this is probably going to be the one that I focus the most on, just because it's going to be the most fun. The Saints obviously threw it all over the place against Oakland, and Eli Manning had his moments when they had the ball, as Dallas did a great job of keeping the ball on their side. So let's see how he opens up against an awful Saints defense. So I agree, first 1 to 50, and I will take Eli Manning and the Giants.
I got the Giants too.
I got the Giants.
The Giants.
Yeah, I think the Giants' defensive front there is definitely going to make life hard for definitely keep Mark Ingram from doing anything. But Drew Brees, I think they can actually get in his face a little bit and get him a little bit off balance, and so he may not be able to score that winning touchdown.
That's fair. After this, I think we can all pick this one pretty easy. Carolina at home against San Francisco.
San Francisco. Sorry, Carolina.
Seriously.
Well, one of these teams is undefeated. Why don't we go for the undefeated team? I mean, they haven't even given up a point yet the regular season. They played a juggernaut No, they didn't. They just awful. And actually, I wanted to bring up something that was brought up. I was listening to Mike and Mike on Thursday, and Greeny brought up a wonderful point. See what you guys think. I think the schedule makers, even if this was a closer game, completely screwed San Francisco anyways. Carolina played on Thursday. San Francisco played the late game on Monday and now have to travel coast to Carolina on a short week. completely unbalanced and unfair for them. Plus, they're a worse team. So Carolina,
I just think
easy.
that gets so overblown now because you have these charter flights. They don't take that long, and
Still travel though.
And 4 extra days of rest too. So
that's true. But the extra days of rest, that does help.
Yeah, but I can't lie. Even if the situation was flip-flopped and Carolina was in the San Francisco situation, I'd still give it Carolina the victory.
Yeah, I think we're all going Carolina on this one. So after that, you get the other divisional matchup here of Seattle Seahawks taking on the Los Angeles Rams. The first game in Los Angeles that counts since 1994.
do they score a point?
Well, if they didn't score a point against the San Francisco 49ers, man, against the Seahawks defense.
And Randy actually asked me this question there this week and asked if I really am that high on the Seattle Seahawks. And I mean, how can I not be? This team showed me nothing against the San Francisco team that I really don't consider being that good. So this should be one of the biggest slaughters of the weekend.
See, this is where I kind of tell you to just kind of watch out a little bit. I'm not taking the Rams. I'm taking Seattle. That is my pick. I think they're going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be that close. However, as far as slaughters go, the Rams always play the Seahawks tough. This is their big emotional home debut, first time in Los Angeles since the 90s, so that's going to play a big part as well. Yes, they looked completely lost against San Francisco, who is nowhere near the caliber of Seattle. And you have Russell Wilson, who is banged up. You have the running backs who are banged up. Thomas Rawls, we'll see how he's going to be able to perform. So just things to look out for in this game. We'll see how much, that ankle a week later is going to hinder Russell Wilson in his ability to move. We know that the Rams love to rush, and that offensive line is terrible for Seattle. So I don't think this is a close game. I don't think they're going to have to battle it out like they did against Miami last week. But just be warned, this has sneaky upset potential. I don't see it, but it does have that sneaky upset potential. So I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah, Rams did win the first week of the season last year. I still got to pick Seattle though. That's really hard to. Go ahead.
It is. I do have to say I like Randy's point here, and trust me, I'm not going to sit there and be shocked if I don't look down and see that score and it's 6-0 Seattle. And then it's 7-6 Los Angeles. It wouldn't surprise me at all because, at halftime it could definitely be that because of the fact that, these are those upset games. But I'm still not going to pick it.
And the Rams don't have a bad defense,
No, exactly. And the Rams have won 3 of the last 4 and 3 of the 4 at home against the Seahawks. They love to play this team.
You say the Rams defense isn't bad, and I would agree. And in fact, I had them on teams to watch on defense this last week. But if you make Carlos Hyde look that good, that means that you're getting worn down, and they're going to get worn down.
That's true. Well, we move it along here to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Arizona. This should be a fun game. Two offenses that can go. Cardinals defense is pretty decent, and the Bucs defense has improved. I still take an angry Arizona team here, but man, don't sleep on Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa Bay impressed me against Atlanta. I thought that was going to be an even matchup and gave it to the Falcons for it being at home. Winston really has taken that next step from it, as 1 week has shown. Again, I don't want to completely overact through one game. But listen, it looks like they really put in the work in the offseason, and it's paying off. So I think this game is going to be a lot closer than I originally gave it any thought of. But yes, Arizona at home, coming off the tough loss against New England. A veteran team like that knows how to bounce back, and I think they do against Tampa Bay.
I'll just say this: I got Arizona winning, but I don't know. I'm not. I've been supporting Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is a team, and I like their defense better than. I just don't know that they go into Arizona and they look all that great. I think, in fact, after this, people are going to second guess themselves about Tampa Bay and take a step backwards. But at the same point, I'm not saying I hate Tampa Bay or don't like them. Arizona's a little angry, and that's not good.
Yeah, that's they didn't like the way they lost last week. They're going to come in on fury this week. You got the Raiders at home against the Falcons. Raiders. Somebody.
Yeah. I'm going I'm going Raiders here. I think that the Falcons, I've yet to really be too impressed with them so far. I don't like their defense. I think their offense has potential, but it just seems like they can never reach it. And Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, I just think that, he's been a big disappointment down the stretch here. I'm surprised at this point in his career he hasn't done a lot better. It's like he fell off the map.
It's going to be an interesting game. I think I'm taking Oakland as well for it being at home, and all the rumors about them moving to Las Vegas. Just watch the field that they're going to play on Sunday and realize where they want out of Oakland. But I don't think the defense looked that great against New Orleans. They gave up bigger plays than I thought they were going to. Yes, I had New Orleans winning that game, but I thought the defense would look a little bit better. So I think Atlanta and those receivers of Jones and Sanu, if both play in the game, they both are on the injury report right now. I think they can keep this close, but I think Oakland holds on and wins.
And after that, we have the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck, traveling to the Denver, the Mile High City. And the Denver Broncos, as Trevor Siemian has to go against that, whatever that Colts defense is. Man, Denver's defense is no joke. They're at home. I know Siemian didn't look, great or anything, but he looked decent enough. The Colts didn't look like they could stop anyone. I'm going to go with the Broncos again.
Yeah, Broncos at home, defense over offense. Go up a mile high and run all those crazy routes. I think that the Colts wear down, and I give Denver the win.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And, in fact, I'm usually not high on many of the running backs when it comes to Denver because they do kind of, have that rotation a little bit. But I think the C.J. Anderson, usually a guy I don't like, but in this game I definitely like him.
And then we get to Jacksonville taking on the San Diego Chargers. Well, if Keenan Allen was there, I would say this could be a shootout, definitely. Missing him, you're going to be missing a key part of the offense for the Chargers. That Jacksonville defense, don't sleep on that. I got to go with the Jaguars, but watch out for that running game for the Chargers trying to become a big part.
So surprised that the Chargers are favored by 3 in this game. Yes, they kept it really close with the Chiefs, but they lose Keenan Allen, and they completely just dropped the ball in that game. Jacksonville was right in it with Green Bay the entire way. They looked like equals in that game. The defense is much improved. Good news, Ivory is out of the hospital still, keeping pretty hush-hush about what was going on, but it looks like he is improving. So good news there. But I have Jacksonville. I think they're the better team.
Yeah, me too. I'm with Jacksonville, and I think that the Chargers actually showed that they have some fight in them last week, but I don't know. I don't know that they compete with that team that I saw play against Green Bay, and yeah, I just feel at the end of the day it's going to be maybe a last minute win again because I think the Chargers can hold on in it, but I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah. And then we get into the Sunday night and Monday night game. The
Did
big
we skip your
division.
Cowboy? Did we skip your Cowboys
Oh,
for a
sorry, I
reason?
forgot it. No, I tend to always leave them towards the end, so we don't get them like halfway Cowboys hour in the middle of the thing.
I just figured you didn't want to talk about the loss, but that's okay.
We already talked about the loss. This is gonna be a big win. What are you talking about?
So
It's a divisional game. The Redskins half the time don't even play well. So we go on and we talk about one of the other divisional games for a second here. And the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Bradford looks like it's going to be his first game. He was taking first team reps for most of the practices here. If the Vikings defense is obviously legit, and they are at home, well, whatever you call this, home field. Look at this. This is where I think the Packers defense is going to make Bradford pay a lot here, and the Green Bay Packers are going to wind up winning. Even if they keep it close, I just think this is one of those times Bradford makes the mistake and Packers take advantage and win by a touchdown or something.
well, don't forget this is the first game in a new stadium for Minnesota. So
This is okay.
So it is
geez.
the big stadium.
Well, that doesn't mean jack because the Cowboys.
No,
lost
I'm just
the race.
saying they're not playing at the college stadium as you
okay.
look like you're making reference to is all. I have Green Bay as well. They're the more complete team. Yes, this is a big divisional matchup, and I thought they were the better team last year, and Minnesota pulled off the big win, the last week to win the division. So Minnesota could keep this close. I have zero faith in Bradford if he does start, or Hill if he starts. I don't care. It's Green Bay is going to get ready to stop Adrian Peterson, and Aaron Rodgers is not going to allow 2 easy touchdowns for the defense.
Yeah, I'm right there with Randy on this. And I think really, Adrian Peterson is going to have to be the focal point for that Minnesota offense. And I think, he'll do okay. I don't think he's going to do anything spectacular, score 3 touchdowns or anything. But he's going to get his fair share of opportunities. And I don't think that's enough for Minnesota. I think their defense will hold on to keep him around for a little while. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is going to find other weapons, and he'll find a way to win this game.
Certainly. So before we talk about the Monday night game, Gary, talk about our Cowboys here. I do think the Cowboys bounce back. It's not like they lost, they got blown out at home at the Giants or anything. Again, this is a divisional game. Obviously, Cowboys don't have the defense the Steelers do. They have weapons, but will Dak Prescott get it to the right ones? Will this be the game that Ezekiel Elliott sort of kind of comes out a little bit? Will this be the game we finally get to see the Redskins offense that we've been talking about for that seems like the whole offseason? What do you think?
This is an interesting matchup because it is that divisional game. And, I really felt like, last week the Giants had a great opportunity because of their wide receiver core. Their running game is not good. And I think Dallas is facing another situation just like that. They're facing a good wide receiving core. I don't know if Kirk Cousins is better than Eli Manning. But I will say that maybe this defense is got enough to give Dallas a hard time. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and say Dallas finds a last-minute way to win it, only because I just don't think that Dak Prescott's that bad, and they almost beat the Giants, and I almost want to say the Giants are pretty equal to the Redskins at this point, so I think they could find a way.
I think the Giants are better than the Redskins. And it's not even close because of that defense, but I'm going to say the Cowboys here. I think you're going on the road. A lot of times the Cowboys play much better on the road than they do at home, honestly. I think Prescott's second game under his belt. I think Washington's defense doesn't present the problems that the Giants defense does. He's going to have more time to throw. I think it's gonna get opened up by the running game here. I think the Redskins don't have a running game, so that creates something that the Cowboys had to deal with in the last game. And you can kind of hone in on Kirk Cousins a little bit more. And all it takes is that, one turnover and that one big play defensively, and it could turn the game. I think Cowboys win maybe by a touchdown or something.
The Dallas homerism here is well and good. Pushing it late, both taking Dallas, completely discounting the fact that they didn't know how to score a touchdown against the Giants, and the fact that Kirk Cousins, was stifled a little bit at the beginning, but got things going late.
They scored a touchdown against the Giants.
A touchdown,
okay.
and many field goals. but listen, to me, it comes down to I think the Redskins, mismanaged Antonio Brown on Monday. Having Josh Norman play on one side and thinking Breland could go one-on-one with somebody with the talent of Antonio Brown. I think the cornerbacks completely bounced back, especially because Dak Prescott hasn't really shown the efficiency yet to go down the field. I think he will. I'm not trying to bash on Prescott. I think he's a good quarterback. But I think the offense is going to be still a bit vanilla here, and the Redskins can take advantage of that. Yes, I think the Giants are right there with the Redskins, but I think the Redskins are better than the Cowboys, and they're at home. So give me the Redskins here.
We'll say this, after all the hoopla about Dez, this has got to be his time to shut up about, Norman owned you or whatever it was, and you got owned by Sherman, and when you're coming back from that injury, this is the time to show that you're still that elite receiver and be open. So, just throwing that out there, Dez. Don't blame it on your quarterback. Be there. So, all we got left here is the Eagles and the Bears on Monday night. This should be a interesting matchup for sure. You got a defense in the Eagles that has been stellar. Carson Wentz in his second game here. You got Jay Cutler going against him on the other side. Will he be doing a Cutler and his turnovers causing the Bears to lose? Or I just think the Eagles defense is going to be too much here, and the Eagles win.
I somehow, some way, I looked on the pick'ems and I sent Sean, and I had already picked Chicago, and you know what? I don't know. I don't care. I'll stick with Chicago. I think that Carson Wentz did a great job last week against an awful defense. I think Chicago's defense is not great, but they're better than what he had to face last week. I think the defense of the Eagles is okay. I like their backfield more than I do their defensive line and their linebackers. So I think Jeremy Langford, I think the running game is going to be successful. I think that some way, somehow, maybe Chicago can find a way to win. I'll stick with my upset victory.
I don't know if it's an upset. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Either way that I go here, I think it's going to be extremely close. We'll see how Carson Wentz does against an actual NFL defense. Obviously, Cleveland is nothing. But he did look extremely well against them. Cutler struggled against Houston, and actually they gave up some points against Houston, which I didn't think that they really would have. So we'll see exactly how Wentz does here, in prime time. I just like the big playability of an Alshon Jeffrey here to make that big play to win the game. Yes, Matthews looked great, but again, it was Cleveland. I think this game is back and forth. I think it is a very interesting matchup, and I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I will stick with the home team, and I will go with Chicago as well.
Alrighty. Well, that'll do it for us picking games here. They did. I discussed this before we started, that this tourism board here in Las Vegas, the SNTIC panel, has recommended $750 million in public funding to be paid by a 0.1% increase in hotel taxes, and up to $650 million would come from private contributions, including the Las Vegas Sands Casino. I mean, obviously they're trying to lure the Raiders over there. You know, the Raiders ownership has hinted at going to Las Vegas. Do you think that we see them there?
Yes. I'm voting yes. Again, look at the stadium in Oakland. They're playing on a baseball field half the year until they finally sought over it. They won out.
You know, originally I was saying, I don't know if I'm going to buy that. I don't know if I'll believe it. You know, you really got to prove to me that that's going to happen. Man, it seems like every time we talk about it, it's getting closer and closer. So I think I'm agreeing with Randy finally. I think I'm on board, and they will probably move.
I think they will probably move as well. You know, Las Vegas is not a football city, but they can become one. All it takes is for the most popular sport in the whole entire country to get over there. And I think you'll certainly see with the traveling Raider fans and just I don't know that if the tourists will come for it, but, you know, perhaps you just get Raider Nation going on in Las Vegas, and it should be fun to watch every week, or how they get them there is going to be interesting too. Is this what they're going to take, or is this going to be a long process? This is going to be interesting if the NFL takes this. You know, at the end of the day, like, they can say it's not a big deal right now, but as this gets more serious, how serious is the NFL going to get about football going into Las Vegas like that? So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for us here. You know, enjoy your games. Between Saturday and Sunday, we got a heck of a lot of great games to watch. And, of course, the Monday game, too, should be pretty interesting, as we already outlined. So we'll be back again on Tuesday doing our college edition first. Then I'll do the NFL edition, of course, breaking down that Monday night game. And then talking about the rest of the games that had happened already over the weekend. And watch out for Fantasy Football to the Max. They'll have a show on tomorrow, kind of previewing from the fantasy side this coming week here. And, of course, check out all the stuff on WTMnet.com. Just posted the Fantasy Football rankings, positional rankings for week 2. And, yeah, just check everything out there. Let us know, of course, if you'd like to write there. There's a Write For Us link that you can click, fill out the form, and, you know, we'll check it out and see if your idea or what you want to do fits what we need at the moment. So, all right, until we see you on Tuesday. Later, everybody.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.